I think that's what we're going to do.
I'm starting your disclaimer too, by the way, if you want to. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
Cool. And now we're live on. Oh, Sena's gone. Hopefully she comes back.
All right. Sena back yet?
She's not there currently.
I should log out. Oh, yeah.
We'll see. She'll hop back in, I'm sure. So we'll just let her roll and I'll pop her back in when she comes back on.
All right. Got about 20 seconds. You want me to get you started?
Let's give it the 20 seconds and see what happens. Now I gotta get my phone to fire back up.
Let me get you started, okay?
All right. Yeah, she'll pop in. We'll figure it out. Here we go. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the 425 Show, your place to be for all things real estate and lifestyle related here on the East Side. I'm your host, Nicole Mangina with Windermere Real Estate. Thanks for being here on this blustery Tuesday morning. Oh my goodness, it is officially fall out there. Today's real estate update. If you're thinking about selling your house, do it now. Oh my goodness. In any market, there's always just these weird blips that happen that can work in your favor as either a buyer or a seller. Currently, we're in the middle of a blip and it is 100% in the seller's favor right now. I don't know if it's
a blip. Is that like technical term? What's a blip?
That's a really good question.
That's a new one for me.
It's like these little moments of time. Perfect example. I had some clients yesterday and buyers. We wrote an offer on a house in an area of Issaquah that if you looked 6 months ago when the market was still really strong, houses were selling, in kind of the $700,000, $800,000, $900,000 range. They might go $10,000, $20,000 over asking. The last 5 houses in that neighborhood have gone $75,000 to $100,000 over the asking price. That's a blip.
I need to move. And yes, great definition of a blip. Well done.
That is the official definition. And sometimes it goes in the buyer's favor where you see things come down, but right now it is 100% in the seller's favor. And it's one of those, even as I talk to other agents, none of us have a super good definitive, and this is exactly why this is happening right now. Yes, there's low interest rates, and yes, we're going into the fall, and there might be some, oh my goodness, I better get in a bigger house before I get locked back in it again. But it's 100% in seller's favor right now. So if you are thinking about selling, now is the time to do it. Reach out to your agent today.
I'm thinking maybe you don't want to get locked out on the cold, so you don't have a place to stay, because the season's changing. You're like, oh, the door's going to be open for me, whether, no matter how much I pay for it. So
exactly. So if you have questions about selling a house, I am here to help. You can always find me via email, nicole@nicolemangina.com. Do it today. Sell your house. There you go. All right. With that, I am excited to introduce our guest today. We have Sena Wheeler with Sena Seafoods with us today. Sorry, that was a tongue twister all of a sudden.
I hate to start with a correction, but it's Sena with
Sena. Oh, thank you.
It's a very common mistake.
Sorry, I should have clarified that before the show.
That's okay. No problem. I go for both. A lot of people, what's really funny is they'll meet me and I'll introduce myself as Sena, and then they go, okay, great. And I love your product, Sena Sea, because they're so calling it Sena Sea. So I go by either.
Well, that works. Isn't that funny how we get things in our head and then we don't even put 2 and 2 together down the road with other things that, all right.
Right.
Well, thank you for being so gracious about that. So you are a 3rd generation family that does fishing up in Alaska.
Yeah.
Tell us what you got going on.
Well, my dad likes to joke that it's definitely 3 generations, probably more like 300, because my grandpa Lars, he immigrated from Norway. He was in a fishing family in Norway, and he immigrated to Ballard. And the way he got into, got a boat. His brothers come. Every brother that came, he was in a family of 13. They got a boat. So they had a great kind of thing going in Ballard. My mom grew up in Ballard, so it was my mom's dad. Great fishing history. And then my dad got involved through when he married my mom. So he's the son-in-law. He got involved and ended up taking over one of the boats. And my husband got involved the same way. So he's actually the son-in-law also. So we have a kind of a son-in-law tradition. So it's really interesting. It's actually 3 generation of fishing wives, really. So it's kind of kind of trying to put it out there.
That's cute. Was that on the disclosure when he married you of like, by the way, this is your new career path?
Well, we both grew up on Vashon Island, which is a small community. And so he was aware up front.
Got it. Part of what he was getting into. I love it. I love that your grandfather was one of 13 too. He probably had his own like fishing fleet just with siblings. That's great.
Right. Yeah. Only about half made it over, but still it's quite a contingency. And my daughter has red hair, and my mom always says, well, I didn't realize that all his other siblings, he didn't have red hair, but his siblings did. So she says that's where it came from. So it's kind of fun.
That's pretty cute. I love it. Awesome. And so you guys fish in Alaska. You have your own processing plant up there as well. And I'm so excited that you're on the show today because that's the whole point of the show is to support small businesses and family-owned businesses, which you guys absolutely are. And we were just kind of talking about it in the real estate update with our whole officially determined blip in the market. It's now an official real estate term, as we have defined it. But, we're all, especially now, about to head indoors and do probably a lot more of our cooking than we used to. And the idea of locally sourced, sustainable seafood, I think is really great. I love the idea of being able to buy direct from the source, whether it's seafood or produce or anything. That's such a big thing for everybody right now. We want to know where our food comes from and how it's taken care of so that we know what we're putting in our bodies and giving to our family.
Absolutely. Yeah, in the Pacific Northwest, you expect great fish. We should all have great fish. And I think it's actually surprisingly hard to find it sometimes, and to be confident that it's the right fish, that it's sustainably caught, that you're supporting the right fishery, the right type of fishing, the right season. It can be a little bit overwhelming, especially for people in Seattle that are very conscientious. So they're, wanting to make the right choice, and it can just be a little overwhelming or difficult to feel like, yes, I'm definitely making the right choice here. So that's where we come in. Like we talked about, we've been fishing for several generations. We fished the Seattle fleet. So we've always lived in the Seattle area and fished the Seattle fleet. Leaves from usually the fisherman's terminal and fish Alaska in the summer times and come back in the fall. So traditionally in the fall, when we bring the catch back, the last of the catch, we would spend days, weeks delivering fish to everybody that we know and getting it out to our friends and family. And we decided to years ago start the business where we're actually getting our fish out to our community in a direct from the fisherman type of business. So without that, everybody just in Alaska, they would sell to the processor. So direct marketing in the fishing world is taking your fish and selling that directly. And we have found that people, they really love it. They love finding a source for a great fish. And they love knowing that it checks all the boxes, that it is sustainable, it's wild, it's, sustainably harvested, it's been taken care of, all the things. So that we take a lot of pride in just easing people to say, we've got it covered. It can be easy. It can be easy to make the right choice. We have a great selection of everything that we catch ourselves and our fleet.
Yeah. Well, and I tried some of your fish. It's fantastic, right? It comes frozen in the great little packets. It was so easy to do that. And, I think that is another theme for this year. We're coming back to community, whether it's bonding with your neighbors down the street because you can't go on long trips to different parts of the world, or, supporting small businesses, because we're really seeing not only how much support that they need, but just how much more fun it is. It's like we're all finding new ways to get our connection. And all of this is great. I think it was how we grew up, and my dad lives over in a small town in Idaho, and he has his fishmonger he goes to, right? And that's how it used to be. You went direct to the source because you knew exactly what you're getting. I was chatting with a girlfriend over the weekend, and we were just talking about the different places we buy, even different grocery stores, and that some we go like more than others because, there's certain ones, and you never really know what you're getting, especially in kind of the meat and fish departments. And so anytime you can buy direct from somebody, I think it's really, I think you, first of all, can just notice and taste a difference in your food. But whenever there's that extra connection, I just think it's super fun.
Yeah, it's been really enjoyable. We do farmers markets, or we did several farmers markets in Seattle area until COVID hit and things have changed a little. We've transitioned more. We've been shipping all along, but definitely the shipping side of our business is the majority now. So we ship direct to people's door on dry ice, which is really great. And we were able to connect with people at the farmers market, definitely. So we understand people's needs and their top questions and all of that, and we've able to transition that online as well. And you would think it's a little bit more isolating, but I have these amazing email conversations with people locally and across the nation about fish and how important it is to them. And it's really amazing because we're actually truly connecting with people online as well. And it's really fun to hear people's reaction to just receiving our fish. We get memories from people, we get recipes from people. It's really it's been really rewarding.
Absolutely.
To do that.
Yeah, speaking of the recipes, so again, we're chatting with Sena of Sena Seafoods today. On the show, we'll have links on our website after the show, NicoleMangina.com/podcast, but you can also go to Sena Seafoods, and they have a free cookbook that you can download for all kinds of different recipes. I don't know about you guys, but my recipes for cooking at home have been severely tested this year because we've been eating at home a lot. And, you can only make the same thing so often. You need to break it up every now and then. In fact, on your blog, I think it's so fitting, the most recent recipe you posted, it's Tuesday, which in our world means it's Taco Tuesday. And you have an amazing recipe for salmon enchiladas if you want to get on the whole Taco Tuesday seafood route. You've got some amazing recipes for that. I thought that was so fitting. So, go ahead.
That's a really good one for this weather too, as we kind of cool down. Like I said, doing the farmers markets for years, the number one question we got at the farmers market was, how do you cook your fish? And they didn't mean how do you cook fish. They meant how do you cook your fish, Sena, as a fisherman's wife, as third generation fisherman growing up eating fish. How do you cook the fish? And so that was the inspiration for our cookbook. It's really our family recipes that we do. And they're simple. I'm a simple cook. I like fresh vegetables, good fish, and a simple seasoning that I can just, weeknight cooking. Really, every night is weeknight cooking for me. We have a black cod recipe that, in fact, we served at our wedding. I serve 4 guests, and I do it as a weeknight because it's really simple and it's really delicious. It's gourmet. You feel like you're at a fancy restaurant. So we have some fun recipes like that, and it is nice to be able to kind of ease people's concerns. People have fishes sometimes. People just don't feel comfortable cooking it yet, and it is in fact really easy to cook, and it's fun to play with, and it's quick to cook, and I like that. I have 3 kids, and Rich is gone half the year, and so I go for quick and easy. And the portions they come frozen on dry ice, and I put them in. They're vacuum sealed individually. And growing up, that's the one big difference. Growing up in a fishing family, you get your fish in big, huge slabs. It would be, a fillet. A fisherman isn't going to cut them and individually wrap each portion. So we would eat big hunks of fish. So now we have these gorgeous 6 to 8 ounce portions. They're vacuum sealed, flash frozen. You take them out, you put them in cold water. I like to put them in cold water about 45 minutes before I'm going to cook, because I really feel the way we freeze really locks in the quality. We even wrap with parchment paper so it doesn't touch the plastic. We take a lot of care to really lock in the top quality of when it's caught. And so I even feel like a night in the refrigerator, I can sense that quality coming down. The more time it's refrigerated, it comes down. So I like to defrost mine 45 minutes before I cook it, put it in cold water, in a bowl of cold water, and they defrost really fast. So it's as simple as counting how many people you're serving, pulling out that many portions, putting it in the water, defrosting it, and pretty much, start the rice, throw the fish on.
So I have to jump in
That's
here
my
real
kind of
fast,
cooking.
if you don't mind, Nicole and Sena. So I'm originally from Alaska.
Oh, I love it.
And Nicole, I don't know if you knew this. So I'm from the Cook Inlet area, from Soldotna and the Kenai. So they have some really good salmon. The steaks, we call them steak salmon, so the kings up there are really good. So where would be the hot spot for you guys? Are you going to give out a little secret, maybe a little tip on the best fishing grounds that you guys hit up? Or is that like a little specialty thing for you guys?
Oh, well, I could never give up the exact spot.
I love the way at a long pause too. So it's in the water somewhere.
I'll tell you this: we fish on the Copper River Delta. We're Copper River. So when we're talking the best of the best, it's Copper River. It's the Copper River King is the king. It's the best of the best of the best. We sell out within a month of Copper River King. We have Copper River sockeye. That's our bread and butter, right under the king with the high omega-3s. We have Copper River coho. So those are our really premium. So, but in terms of the grounds, that is a tightly held secret.
All right. I'll give you that one.
I don't blame you for asking, Benny.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like, oh. Maybe we could chat off the air.
There you go. That's awesome. Sena, so it sounds like it's the husband's, the son-in-law's thing, but do you ever go out on the fishing boats too?
Oh, yeah. So I grew up middle child of 3 girls, and I used to go out on my dad's longliner. So he fished halibut and black cod at the Seattle Fleet. And I used to go out in high school. I would go as soon as school got out in the summer. So I would fly up to Anchorage and then to Seward, so same area, and then jump on the boat. We would do a trip out in the ocean, and then usually we'd time it right. So I do a trip. I would do the night watch. So I would drive the boat at night while they were sleeping, so they could get a little bit more sleep because they fish around the clock. They're doing a rotation, so it kind of gave them a couple hours more sleep, and then I would go in the rotation in the day, as I was learning. And then we would take the boat down to Seattle. So I got to ride the Inside Passage, which is just unbelievably beautiful and amazing. So I did that through the later years of high school and into college. I would go up on the boat. And now that my husband's fishing, we got into salmon, which is smaller boats. It's 1 or 2 man on the boat. They're gill netting. So they don't go out as far. They don't go out as long. And on that we really feel fortunate because we have a boat that our family of 5 can fit on, which is amazing for gill netting because they're small boats. So we take the kids out as much as possible. We spend, our son goes up, well, with COVID, he went up in April and he schooled on the boat and fished with dad. But we bring the girls up. We go up as a family at least about 6 weeks in the summer, and we live and work in Alaska on the boat. So they get a real taste of the fishing life. They get geared up. They do the fishing. Everybody has a job on the boat. So they really like that. Our middle daughter, she decided her job should be cooking. So so she does that. But she also sorts the fish. So it's really fun to see them find their place and find their job and find what works for them on the boat.
I love it. Benny, is this bringing back memories? Does it make you want to go back to Alaska?
All too familiar. I actually got my start as well with my dad. We did a little bit of long lining out of, Seward at Homer, just around on the other side of the Prince William Sound and Cook Inlet as well. And then when I got a little bit older, then I was able to run out a couple times on, my dad's gill net boat as well in the Cook Inlet. We did a couple, afternoon runs. Actually, right after school, like right when the rush kind of started, not before school was out, it's still happening. I would actually leave school a little bit early and jump out for a half day, because sometimes there would be little pockets of really good fresh runs, and my dad would already be hearing the information coming in. So then he'd come grab me and we'd both run out there for a couple hours and come back. So yeah, all too familiar. I love it. I miss it. I definitely want to get back. So keep the stories coming. I love it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's cool. Yeah. It's the seasonal, there, I think the school understands, and I think they get out a little bit earlier and things, because in the spring, when the fishing hits, and when the fish are there, you gotta run out there.
I mean, it makes sense, right? I mean, it makes sense.
It does. See, I love that. This is making me happy. Like, I love family stories of doing things as a family.
We're supposed to be doing this over a steak of salmon. We're supposed to be doing this over a steak of salmon.
I know.
This big old slab of it.
COVID.
Oh, COVID.
We'll have to do a replay when we're all in the studio and we can have smoked salmon and
hey.
do a little appetizer platter, and it'll be great. But in the meantime, people can go to Sena Seafoods. See it, darn it. SenaSeafoods.com, and they can order all of this great fish that you guys have caught, right? And you've packaged it and everything so perfectly.
Yeah, I have my master's in food science and fisheries, no less, because of course the fish just follow me through my life. And so we've studied onboard handling, how to get it to you the best, the freezing quality. So we will get you the premium piece of fish. And it's also great. I guess what I was really trying to say was, right now with COVID and talking about having this meal and distance, and it's actually a great way to share a meal right now. I have a lot of people ordering fish as a gift, and you can put a great note about, sharing a meal together. I wish I was there to eat this with you. Here, let's share this salmon dinner together. You cook, I'll watch. So it's been kind of a fun way to see people connect virtually by what other meal can you send? You can, and we ship across the country, so we ship nationally. So we have a lot of Pacific Northwest people shipping our fish to loved ones on the East Coast that they don't have access to it and things like that. So it is kind of a fun connector that way, for sure, for people virtually connecting.
I think it's great. One of my girlfriends, her daughter does cooking with grandma via Zoom once a week, because that's just their way to stay connected, right? They feel like they can't get together right now. And that's just always been their thing. So they hop on Zoom and they have a recipe they're going to make together, and they do it together via Zoom every week. I think it's the cutest idea ever. So you can totally do it. Yeah, you could do it with the salmon enchiladas or anything. And again, if you go to SenaSeafoods.com, you can download this amazing free cookbook. Because fish seems to be one of those things that a lot of people like, but they feel nervous to cook at home, or that maybe they don't feel like they have as many kind of go-to ways to prepare it. So you've got some great things on there, super simple. To me, that's the mark of good food, seafood or otherwise too. Anything with just a super simple preparation where you're really just tasting the food and not like super heavy sauces is the mark of good food. So I think that's great. So
absolutely. And in this time, a lot of people save their seafood for a restaurant. They want it professionally cooked. We have a lot of people that they've always bought halibut at a restaurant.
Right.
And so it's translating those recipes and translating that to home cooking and just having the confidence to give it a try.
There you go. And see, that's another part of 2020. We're all discovering skills we didn't know we had before. Cooking amazing fish might be one of your hidden talents you didn't even know you had.
Right. Well, I have to say too, it makes a great real estate gift.
It does.
Well, in the Pacific Northwest, like a box of fish, and their freezer will be empty when they move in.
This is a very good point. But part of discovering your hidden talent is starting with really good quality ingredients. And so having good quality, well, I think more the fish, and that's the thing, fish more than anything, you need good quality fish to make it
100%.
right.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Well, I love that you're on the show with us today. Again, we've got Sena with Sena Seafoods joining us. You guys are a third generation, or at least third generation in the US, probably like a 15 generation fishing family. You guys fish in Alaska. You are sustainable. You've got your own processing plant. So you really do kind of start to finish control the process. And you ship direct to the consumer, which I think is so much better. No matter how fresh they say it is at the grocery store, it's not this fresh. And fresh matters, especially with seafood. And you're great. Like you said, you have all kinds of relationships now with your clients. So you've got recipes on your website, you've got a free cookbook, but people can just reach out to you and connect on different things if they've got questions about cooking their seafood, right?
Absolutely. I really recommend people jump on to the website, SenaSea.com, SenaSea.com. And when you get the free cookbook, you get on the email list, and we have some great emails, a lot of really nice information. We feel like it's our jobs to inform and educate as well as sell fish. So we're trying to give the full story. And then on all the emails, you just reply and it goes right to me and I just answer them. I give people, they say, oh, I just ordered this. I got this to my door today. Thanks so much. How should I cook it? And I just respond and let them know what I would do. So I have a lot of fun emailing and just communicating and contacting a lot of our customers. So
that's awesome. Perfect. Thanks so much for joining us today, Sena. I so appreciate you being on the show. Take care, everybody. Stay safe, stay dry from the storm, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
And eat fish.
Yes.